Hey guys, how's it digging? It's the nerdy movie guy, and today we're going to talk about Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. So I've got the copy from 1971 with Gene Wilder, and there is a lot of good things I have to say about this movie. So I wasn't sure where to begin, and the struggle was so many themes that I feel can be taken and pulled from this movie, and that's why it was difficult to figure out how to begin. So the most notable thing to me about this movie was Gene Wilder's performance. I think he did a phenomenal job with the musical aspects, the almost creepy vibes, and just the uncertainty and dread and intensity that kept building throughout this movie. So that was one thing I really appreciated, is his acting sort of, I think, encompassed and brought this whole film together, and he is one of the strongest key factors that made this movie so enjoyable. So one of the first themes is perseverance. So as we see, Charlie is sort of trying to find this golden ticket toward the beginning of the movie. Everyone is, the whole world is. And the fact that he eventually gets that ticket, we get to see, and I believe this was about, I want to say it's about 45 minutes in. So nearly half the movie is everyone looking for the golden ticket, which surprised me because I have seen clips of Johnny Depp's remake, I guess. I don't remember it well enough to really describe it, let alone review it. I just remember glimpses of it I've seen a long time ago. So I don't know how many remakes there have been. I know Wonka is out in theaters now. I plan to check it out eventually. I'm not sure when I'll get around to it, but in this movie, it's about 45 minutes in. Everyone has their golden ticket at that point, and we get to see the journey Charlie's been through because he didn't cheat. He didn't go out and buy a ton of candy bars, didn't steal any from the store. To my knowledge, I think he only bought three. The third one happened to have the ticket he needed. So that was one of the things I thought was sort of a nice theme to sort of recognize in this movie, is his perseverance, and he finally got the opportunity he wanted, is to go and see the inside of this factory. So also in the beginning, well, I say beginning, it's essentially the first half. We get to see kind of this realistic version of what or how the world would react if something like this were real. Everyone's going crazy for the golden ticket. Everyone's looking for it. We see people are sending their workers to constantly open candy bars all day long. And it just sort of makes me take a step back and think, yep, if that happened today's world, people definitely go crazy and go nuts over it. And one of the other things that I think was just sort of the subtle detail is how wasteful it was. If you take the world of Willy Wonka, this is sort of nitpicking the world building here, which is kind of pointless, but anyway, just how many chocolate bars were wasted for people just opening them up. Now, if we were to give food to hungry children, I don't think chocolate bars would be the first thing we would want to go out and donate. But regardless of this movie, there was just a large amount wasted. Some might notice I try not to be wasteful in my personal life, so it's just something I noticed. It's not really something I think is a good or bad quality about the movie. It's just something I noticed, and I don't know how many other people would think about that aspect in that kind of a way. So it's just something I want to bring to you guys' attention. Maybe you guys think it's completely pointless. Maybe you agree. I don't know. I'm putting it out there. So we move on to the second half of the movie, and everyone's in the factory, and we sort of see the kids are essentially kind of being sent off by their own doing. And we get to see their greed and negligence and disobedience to sort of the adults around them that result in the situations they're in, where they can no longer complete the tour of this factory. And it sort of just goes to show the difference in a person's character, especially in a child's character, because we see Charlie and we see the rest of the kids, and he just, it's so obvious how he has his morals are completely separate from the rest of them. It's the impression we get, and it shows and pays off, because if you guys in the movie, you know how it ends. And I just think it's something that everyone sort of learn from, is maybe you can pull from this movie the example of how to teach your children. Maybe it's an example of how you want to guide them, or maybe you want to support them. So I think there are a lot of different themes to be pulled from just that fact alone of what happens to the rest of the children in this movie. And that's one of the other themes I had noticed. And like I said, there's just so many different kinds of themes. It's hard to put all my thoughts together for this one. But I like a movie like this where it keeps you thinking, especially of so many different sorts of stuff like this. And so we come toward the finale of the movie. And Charlie gives that piece of candy back to Willy Wonka in the end. And we get to learn that he's being given the factory, and not just him, but his whole family, because he's going to take over whenever Willy Wonka either retires or dies. It's not really specified. I'm sure in the book it did. I believe it's based off of a book. I'm not 100% certain. I haven't read it. But in the movie, we don't know whether it was planned for him when he retired or died. Either way, Charlie's going to get the chocolate factory. And it sort of brings the whole movie together in the theme of patience, because he has needed patience, first of all, throughout the first half, getting the golden ticket. And secondly, while all the other children are sort of having their own situations arise because of their own doing, he's just sitting back most of the time and just kind of watching everything happen. He's sort of absorbing information. He's taking notice of what's going on around him. And he has patience throughout pretty much, I think, the entirety of the second half. And when the movie draws in the finale, we see this. We get to see it pay off because he gained the factory. And we get to see his journey of patience from beginning to middle to end. And it's just one of those themes that's just something beautiful to see in a movie like this. Because for a movie came out in 1971, it just sort of goes to show that, unfortunately, a lot of movies that came out before the 2000s had some sort of meaningful message to be had from the movie. And there are a lot of great movies with great messages nowadays. It just feels they're slowly becoming less and less common. But maybe I'm just not seeing the right movies. Maybe you guys have great recommendations for me. Some I've sort of noticed past few years especially. But regardless, this was a great watch. I don't know if I'll ever get around to watching the one with Johnny Depp. Like I said, I don't really remember hardly anything about it at all. I've heard very mixed reviews about it, so I don't know if I'll give it a chance, but I want to give the movie that just came out, I think, for 2023, Wonka. I want to give that one a chance. I want to see what it's about. I love this one. If you've heard of these movies, whether it's any of the three, and you have an interest and you want to watch the movie, I would definitely suggest starting with this one. I think I'm going to make an assumption here, not seeing Johnny Depp or not seeing the new one. I'm making an assumption. I'm going to say this remains the best of the three. So we'll see if I'm right or wrong going in to see Wonka, but that's just my prediction for now. I think this will be one of those movies that stands the test of time and prevails as the triumphant original. So regardless, if you're interested in this franchise, I would check this one out. It was a great watch, fun for the family. It's appropriate for the whole family. It's just a family fun movie. I hope that's what Wonka's about. That's what this one was about. And I hope that they took meaningful themes that can be given as a message in this new one, just as it was in the one with Gene Wilder. So thank you guys so much for watching. It's a great watch. I definitely recommend you guys check this one out at some point. Keep it digging, everyone.